Hello and welcome back to another episode of MovieFellas, a podcast where some millennials with little to no knowledge talk about film, both classic and current. I am your host, Matt. With me, as always, is my delightful co-host, Mr. Haste, the David Tool. How are you doing today, Haste?
I'm doing well, sir. How about you?
You're only doing well. Okay, well, I thought you'd have a better day because you changed up your snack for this week.
I'm actually out of them already.
Listeners, he was not eating craisins,
No,
which we declared as the official paste snack of the podcast. No, he's having a love affair with their arch enemies, grapes.
Their arch enemy and hydrated version.
It's just you're disgusting.
I know,
you're
right?
A terrible
I'm
human
pretty
being.
gross.
I cannot believe you. I'm back with the classic OJ viewers, and I'm sipping away on this. So if you hear like a little, that's just a delicious OJ rattling around and just a couple pieces of light ice. There you go. You'll be able to hear it. They'll be able to hear it.
I heard that.
I'm doing well, by the way, to answer your question that you said at the beginning of the podcast. Guys, it's been a cool week. It's been a fun week. Past couple weeks because we only do a podcast
it's
every other week. Funnily enough,
It's funny enough. I think that's what you're going for.
There hasn't been a ton of news that's come out though. There's been bits and pieces, but let's get right into it, guys. This is episode 11, by the way. And along with it being episode 11, I would just like to point out that last week was episode 10, and we were hoping, we were praying, we were asking anyone in the known universe to subscribe to our channels on YouTube so that we could get that sweet double-digit number, the sweet number 10. Well, guess what, Haste?
We're at 12.
Not only did we get to 10, we are now at 12 subscribers. That is 12 subscribers.
And at this moment,
should we even do this podcast anymore?
Well, at this moment,
I feel like we should just be
my ego is too big for you. So I'm branching off and doing my own podcast on my own
for MovieFella.
Yeah, for the 12 subscribers, and you are no longer on the channel. You have been cut off, sir. I mean, I wouldn't have gone that far. I'm like force choking you across the galaxy like Vader.
Well, Vader can do it through the TV, remember?
Like cross galaxy.
Cross galaxy, cross wherever. So long as he senses their chakra and the force.
I thought those are some opposing views. Yeah.
You know what? It's just all about the Midichlorians. If he can attach himself to the Midichlorians.
No, not the Midichlorians.
Even, I think in, what was it? In Rebels or something, they even described that the Midichlorians were just a way of quantizing something they didn't really understand. So it was like, okay, well, we know that there's this thing called the Force, and then they called it Midichlorians, and they have a way of measuring your Force sensitivity. And so, like, well, that's how many Midichlorians you have. So, like, they kind of retconned it in a way by saying, well, that's just kind of how we describe something we don't know how to describe.
Yeah, it's still dumb.
Which I thought was interesting. Yeah,
it's still dumb, though.
Still dumb.
Still dumb.
You want to hear some news, Haste?
Hit me with it.
Listen, all right, we got more Mary Poppins Returns news. So
I honestly have not even paid attention to that.
It's back from episode whatever it was a while ago. Guys,
we talked about it?
Mary Poppins is returning. She's coming back, and it's not Julie Andrews. Yeah, they're Emily Blunt will be playing Mary Poppins.
Emily Blunt.
Yeah, Emily Blunt will be playing Mary Poppins. Anyway, there's just not much news, so this is why I'm including this. Julie Andrews says she won't appear for a cameo in the new movie, and I'm just heartbroken.
That's all the reason not to see it right there.
Once I read this, I was like, well, now I don't know if I want to do the podcast anymore or even watch movies. No, I mean, it's fine.
1 to 100. 0 to 100.
I've never seen Mary Poppins.
I don't think I've ever seen its entirety. I've seen bits and pieces. So
yeah, same with me. She said that she doesn't want to steal the thunder from Emily Blunt, which I get 100%. That'd be kind of like
everyone would see her and be like,
Harrison Ford
I'm
showing
out.
up. It'd be kind of like Harrison Ford showing up in the Han Solo film. So Solo.
Well, I mean, it could be like a time traveling Han Solo.
That's true. That would introduce a lot of new levels to the Star Wars universe.
Wait, we have time travel here?
Yeah. Man. Rick and Morty show up. The Doctor shows up. Oh, man.
We're getting too deep here. Too deep.
I just took a delightful drink of my OJ. Do you like it with pulp or without pulp?
I'm a without pulp person.
You're a lunatic.
See, my problem is
I like
to drink my orange juice, not chew my orange juice.
See, I like it both ways. It's better for you with pulp. You get more of those sweet nutrients, bro.
Either way, you're still drinking like 8 oranges in an 8-ounce glass of orange juice. So I mean, either way, you're killing yourself slowly.
Hey, listen, it tastes good. All right. So Emily Blunt, Julie Andrews won't be in Mary Poppins Returns. That's fine. I'm sure it'll still be whatever it's going to be. All right, moving on.
Yeah.
The Mummy, starring Senor Cruz himself and Sofia Boutella, I believe her name is pronounced, and Russell Crowe as Dr. Jekyll. Listen, it's not been well received.
Whoa! Spoiler alert! I didn't know who he was.
He literally is listed on the Wikipedia page as Dr. Jekyll.
That's spoilers, man.
Whatever.
Well, that makes sense though, because this is like a reboot of the monster.
It's the Dark Universe.
The Dooku, as it is being called by the world currently.
Is it called the Dooku?
There's a YouTube channel that started calling it the Dooku, so I'm adopting it. It is official.
Well,
it is known as the Duke. It is known as the Dooku.
Probably for like 2 weeks, because it's not projected to make very much, because Wonder Woman has been so well received. And so many people like it, and so many people are still seeing it.
I don't think the budget or the box office for Wonder Woman has been updated any time recently on
I checked
Wikipedia.
Forbes, and we'll get into the box office when we get into talking about Wonder Woman, because we're talking about Wonder Woman, by the way.
Yep.
This week is our Wonder Woman review. But it's rocking 20% on Rotten Tomatoes. But again,
wait, 20%?
It was last time I checked.
Holy cow, that's brutal. That is.
It's dropping 17% now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, wow. And so remember when Dracula
It is a 92% rating.
On Rotten Tomatoes?
It is a 93%.
The Mummy?
Oh, I thought you meant Wonder Woman. I was like, hold the phone.
No, Wonder Woman is... Everyone loves Wonder Woman.
Okay.
No, The Mummy 17%. You want to hear the critic consensus?
This blows.
Lacking the campy
hot air
of the franchise's most recent entries and failing to deliver many monster movie thrills, The Mummy suggests a speedy unraveling for the Dooku, as they're saying.
Yes, they're breaking up the Dooku.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You're like, we're going to refer to it as the Dooku. I'm like, you're not going to be able to refer to it very long. I mean, if it makes a bunch of money, they'll continue, because that's what Batman vs Superman made some money. So that, they're like, we'll continue on. Even though it wasn't well received. So here's the thing. They tried to do this with Dracula Untold, which I never saw, which actually some people seem to enjoy.
Yeah, I've heard some all right things about it.
Again, it wasn't well received, though.
Is it ever?
And it didn't make very much money, so they're like, oh, I guess we won't do Dracula Untold as the start to the Dooku. Then they're like, no, The Mummy. Yeah, this is it. We got Tom Cruise, we got Russell Crowe, two big hard-hitting actors.
I think at the moment that they decided, let's have Tom Cruise become the Dooku's Van Helsing, everything went downhill.
Listen, Tom Cruise is not bad.
I know, but he just... It's the wrong kind of dynamic, I think, that they should be going for.
Okay.
I think Tom Cruise...
They should have cast like a young...
Yeah, don't do somebody that's done a million freaking action movies that are all essentially the same movie every time.
It's interesting, isn't it, that they go and like, what's an example? So when Thor came out, right? Mm-hmm. They get a real young, like Chris Hemsworth was like in his mid-20s, late 20s. mid-20s.
Was he really like even well known before that movie, or
no,
was that
he
his
was
first
not
movie?
known at all. Like he was in a couple of soap operas in Australia, and so they cast
Crikey.
Hemsworth and Hiddleston, both like unknown people, in these big roles, and everyone loved him.
Two of the most like well-known house names.
Exactly.
Action movies.
So you get Tom Cruise, and he's really well known, and so I think they figured, oh, we'll bring in the Tom Cruise fans. So the dads, like
the dads that have seen
and the moms who
every Mission Impossible movie ever.
Yeah, the dads and the moms who loved Tom Cruise back in the 90s. I don't know what they were going for with this. I really don't. Like they should have gotten someone else to direct it, better talent behind it. I don't think it has anything to do with the actors because they're all good actors. So,
if anything, this is just my personal opinion, but
you're wrong.
The Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie they did back in like the 2000s.
I remember
it like 2000.
Yeah,
that was actually a pretty decent movie. I mean,
I remember thinking it was fun.
I went back and rewatched it when we were at Johnson, and I was like, man, this movie's actually all right. It holds up pretty well. Sure, it's a little cheesy in a couple aspects, but I mean, it was still. I've seen worse. I will say that. Here's
the thing. You're not going to beat the Brendan Fraser Mummy, so just stop trying. Stop trying to make the Mummy. You want to okay, all right, ready for this?
Oh, yes. Here, hold on. Everybody, this is my favorite segment of the podcast. This is Rants with Matt, and this is where he just airs out all of his grievances, and we actually hear the true being that is Matt Rosenberg.
I actually have a happy rant for later. But listen, okay? This is why film series fail. This is why the Fantastic Four in 2015 was the crappiest superhero film ever made. The whole thing was a freaking build-up. Make a movie. Put a couple Easter eggs around, it's like, okay, so this, you know what making a movie that you want to start a franchise is like? It's like getting an ice cream cone, right? So this is what you do. Like the movie itself, what consists of an ice cream cone? It's like the cone, and you got, you want like waffle. Do you want regular classic?
Gotta go with a waffle cone.
Yeah, I agree. Do you maybe want the waffle cone dipped in a little bit of chocolate or a little bit of caramel, something like that? And then you want and then the ice cream, and you got to decide, you want vanilla, chocolate, French vanilla, Rocky Road. What do you want? And so that's the movie, right? Mm-hmm. Setting up another movie, that should be the sprinkles or the toppings. Maybe you want a little bit of, I get this hard shell Reese's stuff that when you pour it on the top, it like hardens and it makes it taste really good. Mm-hmm. Or maybe you want some sprinkles and stuff. And that's okay. The topping is the stuff for the next movie, right?
Actually, I'm gonna tweak your metaphor a little bit.
No, whatever.
Let's make that like the little chocolate nib you get at the end of like those cones with like the chocolate at the very bottom. Okay. You get that like huge chunk of chocolate like at the bottom of the cone. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay.
I can't for the life of me think of the name of those things.
Chocolate.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Are you talking about like what are those nutter butter money? The things that you got in elementary school when you wanted to get ice cream.
Yeah, the little waffle cone with like the chocolate shell.
Yeah.
And then at the inside of the waffle cone is like covered in chocolate. At the very bottom, there's like an inch of straight chocolate. Yeah.
Regardless,
for the life of me, can't think of the name of them. But yeah.
Continue.
Okay, continue your rant.
Good. Great. Great change. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so you don't go into the grocery store and you're not like, gosh, I wonder what topping I want. And then you just get a bunch of toppings because guess what? What are you going to pour it on? Nothing. You're going to pour it into the air. It's going to fall on your feet. And then you're going to have to lick it off your feet. And that's going to be disgusting.
Ew, would you? Licking stuff off your feet. I'm going to throw up. And then
or the floor or the empty cup that you have or you won't even have a cone. See, this is what you got to, that's why movie franchises don't kick off. That's why Friggin' Fantastic Four didn't work. That's why friggin' Dracula Untold, even though I never saw it. That's why Boss Baby didn't. I don't know. That was a joke. I've never
Apparently
seen Boss Baby. I'm
worked
sure it's
because
great.
it's getting a sequel.
Apparently. But that's what I'm saying. It's all a build-up. And that's why you don't have Wonder Woman opening an email attachment in Batman vs. Superman, because it does nothing to progress the plot. It's so dumb. All right, guys, listen. All right. Who does The Mummy? Is it Sony?
Universal,
find out.
I think.
All right, yeah, Dark Universe. Universal, I know you're listening. $30 and a pack of Mentos, and I will make you a better movie than The Mummy.
Did you just up the ante from last time? Wasn't it $20?
No, it was 30. Same deal.
Okay.
The offer's on the table for whoever wants to give me $30 and a pack of Mentos, or give us a Nature Box subscription and buy 10 million Nature Boxes. Whichever you pick your poison. But stop doing this crap and just make a good movie, and then you make what maybe
if it does well, go from there.
All right, here's the pitch. Ready for this? Okay, I'm gonna pitch it. Ready? Okay, so there's a good action movie, right? And the mummy, it's tearing up cities, and her eyes are turning into 2 eyes, and then 3 eyes, and then her whole body is eyes. And then Tom Cruise is running from sand again, which he does in every movie he does now.
Wow,
and then
that's actually true.
He's on a plane or something. Like anyway, so it's like fun and it's action packed. It's like one of the Mission Impossible movies, but kind of supernatural. And then you have Russell Crowe, and he's this character kind of, who's been talking to Tom Cruise, and he's like been giving him advice, and maybe he's like a professor at a school or something, or he's like but you don't really ever see his name or anything like that. And then at the end, so after the mummy's defeated and Tom Cruise gets his Van Helsing powers or whatever, and then he's like, by the way, thank you so much, but I never got your name. And Russell Crowe just says, Dr. Jekyll, and he smiles. And then that's the end. And that's all you need that much. That is all you need. And people will be like, oh, crap, it's going to start off this monster universe. Maybe a little bit of post-credit scene.
No, it's not the monster universe. It's the Dooku.
It's going to start off Count Dooku's monster universe. That's what it's going to start off. What? Just stop. Just stop. Okay. All right. Stop doing stuff. Stop making movies, Hollywood.
Are you good?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all.
Cool.
All right.
That was a good one. That was pretty great. I'm really enjoying this segment of the podcast.
I've heard there's some good elements in it. It's just I've heard it's not a very good start, and I have a million trillion quadrillion doubts that it's gonna do anything box office wise.
Again, I stand by my Tom Cruise was the wrong way to go.
I can't fight you on that. Okay, moving on. All right, I gotta get a breath.
Now that you're nice and calm, is there any more major news?
Yes.
Okay, I was bringing us back.
By the way, listeners, when I go for my rants, I'm not actually mad because none of this affects me directly. Whether or not movies are, that's what I don't get about people who get legitimately angry about movies, or like whenever remakes are made or something, they're like, it's an patch on the original, and it's like, hey, guess what? That movie still exists. You can still go back and watch that
it's like
movie.
Nothing is stopping you from watching that movie, no matter how you feel about it.
It's like when the new Ninja Turtles came out, which the new Ninja Turtles wasn't good. I actually liked the second movie. It was kind of fun. But the first one, people are like, it's in a patch. The original Ninja Turtles, first of all, aren't good. They're ridiculous. But they still exist. You could go on Amazon and rent it for $2.99. Like,
goodness gracious me.
So, anyway. All right, more news. We talked about this before the podcast started. Black Panther poster was released. Did you see that?
Yep, I saw it.
What do you think?
It's not much to go off of.
I think it looks cool.
It really isn't. I mean, it does look cool, but I mean, it's really not a whole lot to build off of.
It's him sitting on his throne without a helmet.
Yeah, which is really it. Apparently, the trailer is going to air sometime while we're recording this, and I can't, I wanted to watch the NBA Finals on my computer, but apparently that's not happening, so.
Well, maybe if you just would make better movies, then that wouldn't happen,
That's not my responsibility to make movies. We're critics now. We're the
We're
jerks.
critics. We're internet celebrities.
I mean, in a way, we're critics.
Yeah, in a way. In a way. All right. No, it's not your
And
responsibility
away we go.
because you don't make movies.
Yep.
Or do you? You make YouTube videos. By the way, check out Haste review of It Comes at Night on our YouTube channel, MovieFellas. I liked the poster. I thought it was cool. What I think it gives you a bit of a hint of is it's like, I wonder what Wakanda's gonna look like. Like the African nation. I'm like really excited to kind of see the mixture of technology and stuff like that. You know,
was it the end of Civil War that we get at least like the picture or
Civil War? Yeah,
the giant Panther statue, and that's really it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we see that, and I'm just really interested to kind of see how advanced their society is, because I'm all for like a place in our world that like nobody knows about or it's really secluded. That's why I think I really liked the mascara in Wonder Woman, which we'll get into. But like Kay said, the trailer is going to be released, so we may just take like a break, which you guys won't hear because we'll edit it out, to watch it if it comes out. But if it doesn't, oh well, we'll talk about it probably not in a couple weeks because then it will be old news.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Last bit of news, and then we'll get into the main topic of the Wonder East Woman. Joel Edgerton wants to come back as Uncle Owen in the ObiWan movie, which they haven't officially confirmed, though it's essentially confirmed because Ewan McGregor's talked about it, but they've just hinted around the film so much. Anyway, it's rumored to be officially announced at D23 this July. So
interesting.
Anyway, Joel Edgerton wants to come back as Uncle Owen in the Obi-Wan movie. So maybe he will. Probably not, though, because, again, they probably want to distance themselves from the prequels pretty heavily.
Gosh, he was. Wow.
He was Uncle Owen.
Huh.
Before he was a big-name actor.
Yeah. It's come a long way.
What's that?
He's come a long way since being Uncle Owen.
He has. We're going to talk about him. Well, Haste will talk about him a little later on the podcast. Also in that review that comes at night. Check that out on MovieFellas on YouTube. All right. I'm bang up for it. Love you, McGregor. He was one of the few good things about the prequels. So yeah. Are you ready for the main topic?
Yeah, let's do Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman.
Superheroes.
Heroines.
One of these days, I'll learn the language right.
All right, so guys, we're gonna talk about Wonder Woman. So we'll say a few things. I'll let you know when spoilers will start because we're gonna.
Let's just flash that now. Let's do spoiler alerts so we can just kind of.
We might accidentally say something, so if you haven't seen it, leave.
That was your last chance.
I'm gonna go over budget stuff and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, just clock out, go see it. It's
Don't
great.
Come back
I'm just
until
gonna
you've
say
seen
that.
it.
Yeah. Okay. Wonder Woman has grossed just over $300 million in 1 week. It's really good. It was expected to have like a $65-70 million opening in the U.S. and it had like I think $110 million opening. So it was way above. Yeah, it was way above what it was expected. It's on a $149 million budget, which you usually generally double that for marketing. It's already made a profit in just a week.
But the problem is it hasn't made much of a profit.
But I don't think that's going to be a problem because in 1 week it's made $300 million worldwide. True. That is. And with all of the good press going on with this, we'll keep everyone updated on the gross. But again, because of how well it's received, I bet the drop-off won't be huge. Now, every movie has a drop-off in the next weekend. Almost every movie.
But this seems to still be pretty strong.
Yeah, so, and it's still, it came out a week from today. So every movie's had a drop-off except I think Avatar because it's great and everyone didn't realize how great
Space
it was going to be.
Batman vs. Superman.
Batman vs. Superman had a huge opening, and then it dropped off. Guess how much?
Because people realized how much of a trash movie it was.
Amen. It had an 80%. It had an 80% drop off.
Oh jeez.
An 80% drop off. Yeah, because because people figure out not even just reviewers, but they're like, the main reason people go see movies still is mouth to mouth. That is the word of mouth is the main way people still, because if someone says, hey, you got to go see this, it was real good. So-and-so goes to the movies, like, hey, so-and-so said, this is really good, let's go see it. So it's all word of mouth. It's stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I've definitely recommended Wonder Woman to a couple of people that have asked. I mean, they know I go see movies a lot. They don't know I do this podcast, but they're like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" I'm like, "Yeah, this is what I thought of it. I mean, I'd recommend it if I don't." I would be like, "I don't recommend it." Yeah, I'm more of a, I guess, voice for people than I thought I would be.
Right, because you're a regular human man. You
True.
put on your golden underpants one leg at a time. So
yeah.
Yeah, that was, I don't know what that meant. That's like, okay, let me explain
confused.
my joke. All right, so it's funny because Haste is a regular guy, but not a regular person would have golden underpants, right? It would be really rich people.
I've got at least 6 pair. I mean,
well, you are. Then you must be just above everyone else. So you just put your golden underpants.
It's because
on.
I have the 12 subscribers, not you.
Oh gosh,
they're mine.
Kicked me out. here's the thing. It's funny because people don't have golden underpants, but apparently Haste actually has them. So he's not
gold plated. It's really hard to sit down. I'm not gonna lie. Really they don't bend. They don't bend. I need to use some fabric softener.
They don't breathe well. When I go running, it's really good for running because it increases the weight, the amount I have to run around.
It's like ankle weights, except it's my hips and waist.
It's your pelvic weights.
Yep. Man, okay. This went somewhere weird really quick.
Wonder Woman to pelvic weight. Okay, all right. So here's my act. I'm getting into subject. Spoilums, by the way.
Yeah, spoilers.
Here's my I'm gonna do, like, this is gonna be the smooth jazz of weekly rants. Okay.
Did we do?
We had a weekly rant. We had a weekly rant. What?
Okay, we did not do a review for Wonder Woman other than this.
No, we did not. Right, this will be our review for Wonder Woman. I was gonna do one, but I was out of town. So
and I wasn't ready.
Yeah, that's right. He ventured into the market of doing video reviews, guys. So make sure and check that out. It's youtube.com, MovieFellas, and it comes at night review. Make sure and check that out because it's really good. It's good discussion. It's about 13 minutes long. Okay, so here's my. So I already had my actual. This is my actual weekly rant. I didn't expect to have the other one. So this is gonna be like the smooth jazz of weekly rants because it's positive. Mm-hmm. Listen, all right. I'm going to do my Matthew McConaughey voice.
All right.
This is why you make a good movie.
Dark Tower. Dark Tower.
I'm excited for that, by the way.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, continuing on.
This is why you make a good movie. Because instead of just having a ton of marketing like Suicide Squad and name recognition.
Suicide Squad really beat us over the head with marketing.
With a ton, and half the stuff wasn't even in the actual movie.
Yeah, that's
like
the sad part.
You were talking about like name recognition. When people see Batman versus Superman, they're like, "Oh my gosh, like that's crazy! Of course I'm gonna go see that."
It's Ben Affleck.
Yeah, yeah, but Warner Bros. Didn't spend nearly as much on marketing on this. Mm-hmm. Because I think of how much they blew on their past movies. They're like, because when all was said and done, I think Batman v Superman took in like a total like profit of $120 or $130 million, which isn't bad.
To laugh at either.
But it's Batman versus Superman. That thing should have grossed over $1 billion without blinking.
And then people realized it was an awful movie.
Yes. But Man of Steel, when all was said and done, I think it took in a profit of like, and don't quote me on this, guys, because I heard this from another podcast. Took in a profit.
We're pirating stuff.
Well, it took in a profit quite a bit more than Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. And it's just a Superman film. So I think Warner Bros. Got smart and they realized we're going to blow a ton of money on marketing, or we could just put faith in a good director, make a good movie, and maybe people will see it. And guess what? They got smart.
People actually freaking
They
saw
let
it.
someone make a movie, and guess what, guys? Wonder Woman is great.
Oh
Okay,
yeah,
it
yeah,
is
definitely.
a
Oh wow, there's an echo.
fantastic movie.
That was weird.
Make good movies, and generally people will go see them. You know what I want this to do, dude?
What?
I want this to blow Batman vs Superman, Suicide Squad. I really like Man of Steel, but this is a lot better than Man of Steel.
Oh yeah. No, not really question there.
I want it to blow all of those out of the water. I want this to make like $1 billion. So this shows Warner Bros. Just make a good movie. You know, just
don't
let
do too
a
much.
director have some freedom and make a good movie. Okay, so
See,
spoilers, guys.
here's the depressing part.
Mm-hmm.
Batman vs Superman is sitting at 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, which
Mm-hmm.
it deserves.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at the audience score, and it's sitting at a 63, double the actual tomato meter.
Yep.
So
Because people
obviously,
are dumb. No, I know a lot of people liked it, but here's the thing.
something's wrong with those people. No offense.
I think Adam. I agree. I think Adam brought this up. By the way, Adam just texted us both, and he said he wants to be back on the podcast sometime. So, Adam, you're coming back on whenever you get a chance.
Discussing.
Yeah, we were just discussing whenever he wanted to come back on. I know he's
because we hadn't heard from him, so we miss you.
Been busy. Yeah,
We just
come
don't
back
want to
on,
bother
Adam.
him.
We want. I had a buddy who I officiated his wedding last weekend, and he's like, "Man, I miss hearing Adam on the podcast." So, Adam, you need to come back. But anyway,
Next time.
Yeah, Adam said. He said, I think Batman vs Superman fell down a lot, where people were like, instead of just saying, "Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was a good, fun superhero movie," they're like, "This is the greatest incarnation of these characters, the greatest superhero film of all time. Nothing can beat this." And Adam's
Hey, that's like your opinion of Avatar.
"Hey, Avatar is one of the greatest films of all time. Fantastic
Opinion.
story plot, fantastic."
You mean Pocahontas?
It's not whatever. Fantastic visuals, just engrossing world, whatever. But he
Here
said,
we are, a decade later, no sequel.
And he said that's why it was so divisive. And I agree with him, is because people are like, these are the best portrayal of everything. Amazing, best movies should win best Oscar. And then other people are like, no, it's not a good movie. Like, it's not. Like, and I will admit there are some good elements in Batman vs Superman, but it's not a good movie. And so I think that's where it fell down a lot. But
Yeah,
Wonder Woman is legitimately just a great film. So let's get into spoilers. Overall, Haste, what did you think of it?
I thought it was a really good movie. I know there's a lot of comparison to Captain America, which I personally did.
Richard
I did
Donner's
feel
Superman, yeah.
Yeah, I did feel both of those, and I was like, okay, this is it is like those, but at the same time, it's its own movie.
Exactly.
Is what makes it so good. I had a bit of a problem with some of the later action scenes.
I agree.
They didn't feel necessary.
Specifically the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel not necessarily action filled, because I mean it was, but at the same time it's like, wait, why is this happening?
Right.
Honestly, at that point of the movie, because it was what, a 2.5 hour movie?
It's
2 hour movie?
It's not a short movie. Yeah, it's not a short
by
movie.
the time we got to that point, it was kind of suffering from the Batman versus Superman syndrome of, holy crap, is this over yet kind of thing. which happens. I'm not saying I wanted this to end, because it was a great movie, but at the same time it does it drags at the end.
I think that at the end fight is so drawn out that
we've already done spoilers. We can talk about it. It's Ares versus Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it's Ares versus Wonder Woman. It feels like it should have ended about halfway through.
Oh yeah, definitely. But unfortunately, to help move the plot forward, have Chris Pine's character sacrifice himself,
which I almost cried at, dude.
Oh, and I was like, dude, what a bro.
And
that was probably one of the best parts of the movie, honestly.
It really was. And see, here, I don't cry much in movies anymore unless it really earns it. You know what's one of the saddest movies I've ever seen in my life?
What?
Bridge to Terabithia. Okay,
no,
have you seen that? Watch it.
Not.
You will bawl your eyes out. But and that's the thing. This movie is so endearing and heartfelt. It earns every one of these action beats. So I don't love the end fight, but the drawn out time where Chris Evans decides to kind of sacrifice himself, and the drawn out time
Chris
where
Pine.
Wonder Woman's Chris Pines decides to sacrifice himself,
Wrong
and where
movie.
Chris Evans and where
You did it again.
you broke me.
You flubbed.
And where Wonder Woman's fighting Ares in kind of this slow battle. I don't love that battle, but I feel like it's kind of earned in a sense.
Yeah. One thing I thought that was really cool about like their rendition of Ares.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember the game Injustice?
Yeah. Mostly
the
from
Mortal-
coming
the Mortal-
into your room and watching you play it.
The Mortal Kombat style fighting game. Ares in that unit or in that game kind of just made weapons appear out of nowhere. And their version of Ares was like, okay, I'm going to take all this matter around me, smash it together, and it's just going to work as a weapon, which I was like, okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, he made like makeshift armor out of just random metal bits laying around.
Other like tanks laying around and other just bits and pieces, which his armor looked sick.
It did look really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Which it had to look like that because David Thewlis, Professor Lupin, is he's a nerd.
Too soon. Did he insist on that was the case?
I don't know, but he's probably in his mid-50s, and he doesn't look like he's not like a Tom Cruise mid-50s. You know,
Yeah.
he looks his
It kind of took me a second to like recognize who he was because he looks so different. And I was like, oh wait, that's Lupin.
Yep, Professor Lupin. Yeah, Professor Lupin. He is 54, so he's not in bad shape. He just he doesn't, you know. He doesn't look.
He's not jacked like Tom Cruise is.
He's not. Yeah.
See,
exactly.
That's what happens when you follow Scientology. Everyone, you're immortal essentially.
We found the secrets to immortality.
It's Scientology.
It's
Just
Scientology.
kidding. Don't follow Scientology. It's a cult. Just throwing it out there. Moving on.
So I thought it was great too. You ever get those times in movies where you're like, you just want to like laugh, like not like maniacally, but like giddy, almost chuckle to yourself because you're just happy about a moment. The scene where they're talking about like dancing and stuff, I felt like that. I was like, this is so. It's just a fantastic film. It's endearing. It's heartfelt. It's an incredible film, and it's not the most original. I don't think anyone's saying that. I think it. I honestly, throughout the film, I thought this is Captain America and Thor mixed.
Yeah,
that's how I felt.
See that.
Because Thor is kind of a fish out of water, and she's kind of like that when she gets into the.
That is a really good way to look
at
it.
The real world, but it's also kind of got the action beats and the war theme of Captain America. So, but we both loved it, and it is a great film. Okay, so
I think. Well,
go ahead.
Hold on. You texted me Thursday night when it came out because you were gonna go see it then. You were like, "Go see Wonder Woman. It's great." And then I texted you, was like, "Man, that was actually ridiculously awesome." So I mean, it earned it. It really did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you were like overwhelmingly positive, and I didn't walking out of the theater. Like I went with my girlfriend and my little sister, and just walking out of the theater, every person who I heard talking was just like, "Man, they finally got one right." You know, that was so good. You know, and the glowing reviews from critics too. It's just been overwhelmingly positive because it is a great movie. Okay. The cast. What do you think of the cast?
Chris Pine was really good.
Okay,
hold on. I need to go on a mini, like, sort of, not necessarily.
Haste rant. He's fallen to the dark side.
This is the farthest thing from a rant.
Go ahead.
How do you pronounce her name? Is it like Gal Gadot? Is that? How
I've
you pronounce
heard
it?
like 20 different things. Gal Gadot, Gal Gadot, Gal.
Okay, let's just call her Gal Gadot. That woman is just so naturally like attractive.
She won. She was Miss Israel. She competed for Miss.
I'm just over
She
here
competed
like,
for Miss Universe. So
I'm just over here like, man, I don't feel okay. So usually you see movies and you're like, okay, this person looks like they're wearing a ton of makeup. They're wearing like 40 different things. But this movie, it didn't look like she was wearing makeup. It just looked natural.
She's just a very, very, very beautiful woman.
Very beautiful woman, and I'm just that's my one rant. I got like halfway through the movie, I was like,
This is
Wow.
weekly.
This
is our
just
bi-weekly Haste gets overwhelmed by the beauty of a woman. Come
doesn't
back
really
next
happen that
time for our
often.
bi-weekly Haste gets overwhelmed by the beauty of a woman. Okay.
That means I have
Yeah,
to go find a woman
she
that's
is
attractive again, dang it.
she is a very beautiful woman. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was honestly a little kind of distracting at times. I'm not lying. I'm not even joking.
How do you think she did as Wonder Woman?
Kind of your look at it. She was kind of like a fish out of water. And while I get that it was used sometimes as humor, it kind of felt a bit, like you said earlier in regards to this movie, it's nothing new.
Right.
So you're like, oh, okay, this person's just new, and this is them being comedic about their knowledge of the world around them. And that kind of fell a bit flat to me. But other than that, I feel like she really kind of fit the role.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's more of a writing thing. That's going to be more part of how they portrayed the character. But Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, yay or nay overall?
Yay, definitely.
Okay.
She was very good.
Okay.
And I just feel like she really fit the role.
Right.
I know there's a lot of backlash from people being like, "Oh, she's not really Amazonian." Blah blah blah. We're angry because everyone's being whitewashed.
Well,
and it's just
Amazons aren't real people, so that's.
Hey man, don't you mess with my mythos.
Be like, next
and
time
wait,
I'm gonna get
even
really
if she
mad.
was considered Amazon, wasn't she white in the original comics anyways?
She's white in the. She's not even white really. She's Israeli. She's Middle Eastern.
No, I'm basing it off the comics. Wasn't the original Wonder Woman like straight white?
Oh, straight white. I mean, look at Linda Carter or like any comic. She's porcelain. You know, like she is a very white person. But
yeah,
no, I thought regardless, she is a very beautiful. Which Wonder Woman is traditionally a very beautiful woman, so that makes sense. But I thought have you read much Wonder Woman?
I honestly have not read much like anything DC related other than Court of Owls from Batman.
Okay. See, I haven't read Wonder Woman specifically. I've read stuff with Wonder Woman in it. And the little I know about Wonder Woman, I'm like, if this isn't her, this is her. Like, this needs to be Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
she portrayed it in a way that I was like, I wanted everything she did to succeed. I wanted you know. And so I thought Gal Gadot there was a little bit of worry, I think, from fans. They were like, can she carry this? She's never really carried a film. She's never had a lead actress role. But I think that she knocked it out of the park. She was charming, beautiful, carried the film well.
I know this is kind of nitpicky, and it's kind of backtracking to the whole Batman versus Superman discussion. But where was this? And I know you said it's writing. But where was this Wonder Woman and Batman versus Superman? We had so much character and just like happiness, but then Batman versus Superman, like you said, the writing was.
But I think it was the writing, and also we get this is her story. You know, in Batman versus Superman, she's just a factor. You know, she's just a part of it. She's just kind of along for the ride, you know. And I think in this movie, it's like this is hers. Like we're getting we're learning who she is, why she is the way she is, and stuff like that. And so,
okay, yeah,
I might go back and watch Batman vs Superman. I probably won't because I want to like it so much, but it's not a good movie. But I want to kind of see if I view her character any differently now, having watched her origin story and stuff. So we talked about Chris. You talked about Chris Pine. I thought he was excellent in this movie.
Yeah.
He was funny, and he wasn't funny in a hey.
He wasn't forceful funny.
Look at I just farted, or look at my butt. Like it,
yeah, he wasn't like sidekick humor kind of
funny.
Yeah. He was just as much of a main character as Wonder Woman was.
Well. He had his own important plot. Like he had stuff to do. Like there was And it wasn't like in Batman vs Superman where Lois Lane has to run and go grab the spear.
The spear.
Yeah. Like that was obviously very forced in, and they wanted to give Lois Lane an action piece. He was very much he's a soldier, and he's this guy who's trying to kind of guide this person who doesn't know anything about our culture, but he felt very organic. Like he was funny in an organic way, and I think that they worked really, really well together. He seemed like a real person to me, like a person that you could go up and talk to. Like
yeah, definitely.
That being said, the villains did not feel that way.
No. I honestly feel like there were too many villains.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that's where this movie probably suffers the most is which is what Marvel's been accused of a lot. Their lack of
Especially
villains,
in
and
the
I won't
Spider-Man
fight
universe.
that. Yeah.
Spider-Man overdoes it.
Yeah. But I won't fight that they have weak villains, and I think that this is this is definitely part of that. Who is it? It's Colonel Stryker from X-Men Origins and Dr. Poison. They were like tweedly mustache, like like.
Well, if anything, they spent the entire movie setting it up as like, oh, his name started with an L. It was like Ludenberg or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
They were like, because the way Dr. Poison was acting, it was like, oh, you are Ares. You are the one driving this. And Wonder Woman thought so too.
Yeah.
So to have him built up, oh, it is Ludendorff. Dang, I'm good. To have it go from that kind of just, oh, it was almost kind of, it was Iron Man 3 done well.
Okay.
They did it well.
But did you expect
they turned
that
it around
Ludendorff was actually Ares?
When Dr. Poison gives him the pills, she's like, this will return you to your power. And he starts like breaking those things and huffing the gas. I was like, okay, I could maybe see this.
Maybe he's like
being
been
Ares.
Cast, like Ares was cast out and he's lost.
Yeah,
his
when he was
power.
cast out, he lost his powers, and
no,
this is Dr. Poison helping him come back to that. And I was like, okay, I can buy it. But then, kind of once she killed him, I was like, okay, then who's Ares?
Mm-hmm.
And then once they actually introduced it as Lupin, I love how we like replace it with their other character names. It's pretty great.
Exactly.
But yeah, his role once like he's introduced as Ares.
Did you suspect that?
No, actually, I did
really?
not.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, okay, I get
so
behind this.
So you're the idiot this week. I was the idiot last time.
Yeah.
No, I don't think a lot of people suspected that. But when he's like, here, I'll give you this money and I'll help you go to go to this battlefield or whatever, I'm like, okay. Most of my knowledge of Greek mythology.
See, I didn't see it as suspicious though.
Okay. You see, I did, and I think the reason is okay, so all right, so my knowledge of Greek mythology comes from one thing that everyone's going to laugh at. It's Percy Jackson.
Percy Jackson?
Yes.
Dang it, I'm good.
Well, no, I obviously went through school, and, I know relatively, the regular amount. But reading the Percy Jackson stuff, Ares, like in this movie, he's not someone who starts wars. He just gives people the tools to do it, but he leaves it up to their free will. And I did think that was actually relatively interesting. Because then Professor Lupin shows up and he's like, listen, I didn't force anyone to do anything. I just gave them all these tools and they decided to do this. So
it's the mankind is inherently evil kind of thing.
Right. And that's something that I found really interesting, which I kind of wanted to be it. So she kills Ludendorff, who she thinks that is Ares, and she's like, why are these people still evil? And Chris Pine's like, listen, maybe it's not just one guy. Maybe it's just some people are just bad. Yeah, people can be just bad people, and that's just how some people are. But there are also good people in this world that need our help. And I thought that moment, well, I had two suspicions. I thought maybe she's going to have a big action sequence taking out a bunch of guys, or the real Ares is going to show up. And Ares was just going to be kind of a construct of man's evil kind of mankind being inherently evil or bad, you know. But then Ares actually showed up, so you got kind of a bit of both. But Chris Pine, that speech from him was really, again, just characterizing on how good he was in this movie. Was really good.
Honestly, he was probably my favorite part of the movie. He just
Really?
did
Okay.
so well.
I loved their interactions with him and just Gal Gadot.
If anything, I'm kind of upset they went the whole romance route. I kind of wish they hadn't. Yeah, going into it was like,
well, it's Steve Trevor. It's like it's like the Lois
know.
Lane to Superman. Like you gotta go the romance route.
One of these days, man.
I kind of expected it to be platonic, though. Strictly platonic. I kind of expected it to be strictly platonic.
And then we got an inkling that they hooked up in that one scene.
Yeah. It's kind of like implied that they spend the night together or something, and then. But so okay. Do you think he's dead?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't think he could. Oh, hey, by the way, the Black Panther teaser's out. So
is it?
Do you want to pause this?
Yeah. All right, listeners.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
This is for the greater good.
All right.
Of the world.
3, 2, 1. So, guys, we are back from watching the Black Panther trailer. And Haste, what do you think?
Very James Bondy in a very good way.
James Bondy in kind of a cool.
Yeah, it was very James Bond-esque, which I'm okay with. That was an interesting trailer. Right. And it's piqued my interest.
Okay, let's talk about it a little bit more
definitely.
Afterwards. But overall, cool trailer. Really cool. Check it out. Check out the new Black Panther trailer. It's crazy that we have 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe trailers out before those 3 movies. Before even the first one comes out, which is coming out here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Okay, so back to the cast. I also thought the Amazons did a great job. I guess a lot of them were like MMA fighters.
Oh gosh, I could see that.
Some various like athletic women. Yeah, because they were clearly very athletic, you know. And they were. I thought they looked powerful and terrifying and could beat.
Yeah, frankly, I was sitting there like, man, these women could all just beat the crap out of me.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's because at the beginning of the movie, Chris Pine, he sees them, the bad guys are kind of approaching in their military ships and stuff like that, and the Amazon women are like firing arrows, and he's like, "Please tell me you have more than that." And then they just like kill all the guys with just their bows and arrows and like swords and stuff. So
I'm kind of surprised.
So yeah,
I'm kind of surprised they killed off the main warrior lady.
Hippolyta,
no, that was the queen.
Maybe. That was the queen. That's right.
Oh, Antiope.
Antiope. That's right. Okay. Yeah, that is surprising. Maybe she isn't dead.
Maybe she's in Valhalla.
Nobody ever dies in the comic books. True. Remember, there's also apparently a fountain of youth in that cave. That's what I heard.
Is that what Chris Pine was like swimming in to restore his health, or?
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he's just stay young forever. Maybe he's alive and he'll stay young forever.
I kind of want him to stay dead after what he did. I feel like
I would like him to stay dead, but I can also see them doing a Bucky thing.
I feel like if they brought him back, it would kind of like defeat his sacrifice he made at the end of the movie.
Right. That's how a lot of people feel about Coulson being back in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. With Joss Whedon has actually said, I kind of wish I had kept him dead. Because, anyway. Yeah, so I thought they did a great job. How are the Howling Command Bros, which is a play on Howling Commandos, which are in Captain America, which is essentially what they have in here.
I really liked them. They were all really cool. You kind of had that like ragtag band of misfits in a way, and they all had their own little like quirks that they were good at and helped the team. It was kind of like a grand quest that everyone like had their roles to fill and that kind of stuff.
Right.
I think my favorite was the actor. I forget.
Yeah, the actor guy. I liked him a lot.
I mean, they were all great. The Chief didn't really have too much of a role. Neither did Charlie, who was the Scottish sniper.
Yeah, I felt they tried to get some emotional moments from him, but I didn't feel like they landed
The
all that much.
when you find out that he's got like the PTSD, you're like, man, that really, because his reaction
Right.
was really good. His like freak out at
Yeah, when you
Diana.
figure that out, I think it puts things into
Hmm.
perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
his little freak out at Diana when she's like trying to comfort him when he's having like that nightmare. Um, I thought that was probably one of the best like interactions between characters because she doesn't understand really because like you said she's
Right.
from the outside world. What do you think of Chris Pine's secretary? Yeah.
Etta Candy, I
Hmm.
thought she was funny. Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
she was real fun.
definitely.
Yeah, she played her
Mhm.
character real well.
I'd kind of pokingly made fun of her as the up and coming gosh, what's her name, Melissa McCarthy, and I kind of retract that because I haven't seen Lucy Davis, who played Etta Candy, as any like
Hmm.
vulgar, just yeah,
Right,
yeah,
strong, vulgar kind of
yeah,
woman. Yeah, yeah. She looks like her. I think they kind of have similar
hmm
faces. Similar. They're both like they're
hmm
both shorter too, like shorter women. So, yeah, face wise maybe.
yeah,
Anyway, she seems more of like a kind
hmm
British woman though. Um, anyway, so cast great all around. I think villains. Some of them were kind of tweedly, but it
yeah.
is what it is. All right, and lastly, not lastly, secondly, the story. What'd you think?
Same old, same old. Every hero's backstory movie is pretty much the same. I wish it wasn't the case, but I mean, it's just kind of how it goes in terms of backstory movies.
Okay.
I feel like it was done well. Um, I kind of feel like we spent too
Mm.
much time on uh, the mascara. Yeah,
Really? Okay.
the scene with the cave between Diana and Chris Pine kind of went on a little long. Um, yeah,
Really? Okay.
I was kind of nitpicky about it. Um, I'm getting really nitpicky about movies running long. Um, for like
You just got so many important things to
it's
do,
it's
don't
for
you?
it's
So
it's
many.
the
It comes at
it's the
nights to
padding
see.
that upsets me
Okay. All right. Okay. I can see
because that
that.
was
I
like
can see
what, a
that.
5-6 minute scene of just kind of penis jokes in a way.
Yeah, yeah, that's kind of what it was. Well, the first part
Hmm.
was anyway. I got a huge
After
laugh in the
that part
theater.
though,
I got a huge
like when they
laugh.
actually start having a serious conversation and like he explains why he has his father's watch, I was like, man, that is really
Right.
cool. It's just such a cool like plot
Yeah,
driving device in a way.
and that's
It made him
again
seem human, superhuman.
every yeah every su- oh superhuman, but he's
Ooh,
not.
he's the Green Lantern. He's
Everyone expected
yeah,
him to
he's
be
the
Hal Jordan.
1910 Green
Like that's
Lantern.
yeah.
That
What was
actually
his
be
name?
that would be really freaking cool. I'm okay with that. Have him come
That would
back
be
as
really cool.
dang. I actually support that because there is like a costume for. Oh no, it's the red Sun Green Lantern that's kind of like the bomber jacket and Russian style hat kind of look and. Oh man, I'm all about
Okay,
that now, man. Why do we have this discussion?
there you go.
I that's how I support him coming back.
Now you're gonna be disappointed if he's not. What if we get like the beginning of the next Wonder Woman movie is like he's flying the plane and then all of a sudden there's like a green streak in the sky and then a Green
Yes.
Lantern
He's
flies
like,
up to the plane.
we
He's like,
have
"Hey man,
honored your sacrifice, and we want you to be one of
in
us.
brightest day, in blackest night,
Oh,
no
see,
evil shall escape my
that would just be
sight.
so much better than the.
Let those who worship evil's might beware my power.
I'm
Green
just gonna let you
Lantern's
finish.
light." Okay.
It would be so much better than Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern if that was the case.
Okay. Anything can be
Just
better
don't
than
make
that,
my
man.
suit
That movie
green
was a
or digital.
nightmare. Or
Don't animate my
yeah, or
suit.
animated, or battle a giant space fart. That
Hey,
was
that was
so dumb.
Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, the
Galactus
same
is
thing.
not
They
a
turned
space fart.
Galactus into a giant space fart. My gosh. Anyway, I thought again same thing. I thought it was interesting, not a game changer, but I thought that it was a little bit different than a lot of others, and this is why I kind of thought it was a mixture of Thor and
Hmm.
Captain America. Um, Thor is arrogant, and he goes from a place completely unknown to him into a place that's or from a place that he like from Asgard, this realm, kind of beyond all the others, all
To a
space
place
and
where he's
time,
considered
to Earth.
alien. Ooh.
Ooh. And then
A chest
then
burster just explodes from his head.
yes, exactly.
It's
And then
shaped like
Michael Fassbender
it's
walks
shaped like
into a
Loki.
spaceship playing Ozymandias.
Ascends to Valhalla.
Enters into Valhalla. Oh
Continuing
man,
on.
okay. So you kind of got that same kind of, she's going out of her element to a place she's never been, completely alien to her. But Thor was really arrogant, and he thought he was the coolest guy in the world. Which, let's face it, Chris Hemsworth probably is the coolest
He
guy in
seems
the
pretty
world.
neat.
Um, and then you have Captain America, who wants to fight in this battle, but he doesn't really have the abilities to because he's such a small guy. And so he learns he's already humble, but he learns how to kind of control his power and use it in a way that is helpful to humanity. And that's how Wonder Woman kind of was.
She was kind of
It
the hero
was
before she became a hero, just like Chris Evans.
exactly. She still has an arc in a sense that not everything's cut and dry.
She's learning there's
not
not
everything
black
is
and white. It's a lot more gray than she was led to believe.
Exactly. But she's still, at the beginning, she's still a hardcore fighter, and she's powerful, but she's also nice and kind and caring and a good person. And she doesn't really learn that. She doesn't learn how to be a good person. She already is that good person, but she learns that her arc is essentially she learns more about the world. She becomes less naive. And I didn't think they played off that naivety in a way that she's bumbling around and she can't, like she got to put her shoes on, but she's got to go to the meeting with the big client at the big business building, but then she's got to balance the coffee in the binder, and then she spills the coffee, and then the handsome man helps her pick up the coffee mug pieces, and they hands touch when they're in New York City, and then their hands touch, and then they look up at each other.
Is this when
and
Harry
then the
met
music
Sally?
starts playing, and then it probably is. But you know what I mean? The whole stereotype of all that. Yeah, but so I think that they played off her naivety in a way that she wasn't an idiot, but like anyone would be. Like if any of us went into, I've never been to Hong Kong. And if I went to Hong Kong, I bet there would be a lot of stuff. There'd be a lot of stuff about their culture that I did not understand, and I got completely wrong.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like that, kind of a similar thing like that. But she's a person, and you feel. I think the story works around her in such an amazing way, and even though the runtime is long, I wanted it to go on because I loved the character and I loved the world that they created. So. Along with that, like we said, the end fight is kind of slow and it's CGI heavy, which again, I don't have a problem with CGI heavy. Avatar is one of the greatest films ever made.
Pocahontas.
But what I do have a problem with is when it's not exciting, and I think there were parts in the end that weren't really exciting. And
that battle between her and Ares was pretty. I mean, it was cool when they were actually fighting, but all the talking was kind of stupid.
But there was like a lot of slow points in it.
Yeah.
And it was like just.
It was a lot of Ares trying to be like, "Oh, hey, come to my side. We can fix this. We can make humanity in our image, and we can make them do what we want them to do because we are the righteous."
One could say Ares had a god complex.
Well, everybody, this has been episode 11 of the MovieFellas podcast. Thank you for listening. Haste will be signing off for the last time here at the MovieFellas podcast. This is my true swan song. I'll see you all later.
Oh, man. I'm so funny, guys. I don't know why I'm not
so
like on
angry.
America's Got Talent
So
or something.
just rage-filled right now.
I think that, and again, even though I don't love the end part, I do think it's earned. The guy whose wedding I officiated this weekend, Andrew from the Cinematary podcast, who was part of our lost podcast that will never be found. He'll be back on sometime, hopefully. He said he was okay with it because he loved the movie. He really enjoyed the movie, and they kind of wanted to cover the action beats of a superhero film. So they kind of did the end CGI heavy fight, but like I would have taken. No, I won't say this. The end CGI fight between Zod and Superman in Man of Steel is more
It
exciting,
was
I
kind of
think.
the same
But
thing.
there's less at stake.
That was kind of like this.
Yeah,
Now that you think about it, it was kind of the same fight all over again.
it really was, but it wasn't as exciting. But there wasn't as much heart in
Yeah.
that one because the character development wasn't there, and you didn't. I still really like Man of Steel, and I still wanted uh, Henry Cavill to succeed in that film. But with Wonder Woman, every beat of this story is about her progression, and you just continue to like her more as a character. And so by the end, even though the end fight isn't great, you're like, man, I just want her to
Yeah.
win. I want her
Hmm.
to win, you know? So that's why I think it's better. And also, you have that moment before the big end fight where she's talking to Chris Pine about um how he's like we said, how like it's not just cut and dry, it's not just black and white, and so that added to the end fight
Yeah.
being real good. So how long
About
have
an
we been
hour and
going?
6 minutes.
It feels like a lot
Yeah,
longer.
it's been an hour and 6 minutes.
Maybe it's just because you're so
Maybe it's
boring.
because you make really bad puns, and I'm just really angry with you right now.
One could say you had a god
Yeah.
complex. Okay, visuals, what'd you think?
It felt a little bit cartoony at times.
Specifically,
Hold on, give me a second. It's been a week since I've seen it.
yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I'm trying to think of certain things.
Oh gosh.
Let me go through mine
Yeah,
real
go
quick.
ahead.
What
Go
I
ahead.
thought, most of it was really, really good. Especially the kind of in-camera fight scenes where she's, especially No Man's
Yeah.
Land, that
That was probably
battle,
the best part of the movie.
the battle on the beach, and I loved how it felt. Like you hear these horror stories about World
Mm-hmm.
War One, right? The trenches and how disgusting they were, and it felt like that. You're like, man, this sucks. Like I would not want
Yeah,
to
and
be here.
usually you
And
think of that kind of stuff. You're like, okay, I'm getting this in an R-rated setting where they can show it as gritty and grisly as possible. But this, they did it in a PG-13 movie setting, and you're like, man, this still feels like it sucks.
absolutely, yeah. So I think they did a really good job at kind of portraying the
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
hopelessness. You know, they're like, man, this is the worst. But then she gets up on there and she's like, and she's blocking all the bullets. And that I thought that whole fight sequence was
Mm-hmm.
really, really good.
Where they're like, oh wait,
Um,
she's giving us
again,
hope. Let's get up there and actually take this front.
yeah, she was taking the fire
Mm-hmm.
from them, like from the main guys, so everyone else was kind of able to rush
Mm-hmm.
forward. Um, it's like I don't know what the military tactic is called, but I've heard of it. It's where like a small group of people or one person acts as a complete distraction, so that another group of soldiers can, you know,
Yeah.
overwhelm
Yeah.
the other group. So I thought there was a little bit more slow mo than I'm used to. I didn't hate it, but I think they were trying to do that to portray kind of her
Godliness.
abilities because we don't really know. Yeah, exactly. We don't really know what she's capable of. But she just picked up that tank like
Oh, that was
it
so
wasn't
cool.
really that heavy. So she must be pretty
Yeah,
strong.
and I mean,
Um,
with the approach they're going from here, because obviously is she a demigod or is she a god?
she's a
Okay.
god because Hippolyta is a god. Yeah. So whatever in this universe, a Greek
Mm-hmm.
mythological god, whatever powers they have. In the New
Yeah,
52,
it's the new
the
fifth.
gods were
She's essentially the new
descendants
52
from
version of Wonder Woman.
yeah. In New 52, which is for those of you who don't know, New 52 was a few years ago. DC rebooted their whole universe, which they've actually done again about a year and a
Yeah.
half ago. And they made. Did you
Mhm.
hear about that? Do you know what
I
happened?
forget, to be honest, but I know they did reboot it.
Doctor Manhattan. They brought the
Oh,
Watchmen
yeah.
universe in, and Doctor Manhattan Manhattan rebooted the DC universe.
Everyone's like, why in the
Anyway,
world are
so
they
the
mixing
time
these two
before this,
together?
yeah, like one of the most
Yeah.
beloved graphic novels of all time. Anyway, so DC Comics rebooted their series, and the new kind of origin for Wonder Woman was that she is the daughter of
Mhm.
Zeus and Hippolyta. So before it was literally a comic panel of her being sculpted out
Mhm.
of clay and then being brought to life. So that's kind
Yeah.
of weird. But it's also in the New 52, I believe, and don't quote me on this because I could be wrong, that the kind of Greek mythological characters, the Greek gods are descendants of Kryptonians who came to
Hmm.
Earth. So that's why they kind of have these powers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So they might do that. I feel like they shouldn't, and they should just kind of leave it like there's just these powerful
Hmm.
beings that kind of have always existed on Earth. I think that'd be kind of more
Yeah, most definitely.
interesting. Um, anyway, so there was some little CGI heavy stuff, but overall, I really, really enjoyed it. I thought the mascara looked really good, and I was sad when they
Hmm.
left it because, like you said, they were on there a while, but I
It was the first like
love
half hour of the movie.
me. It really was. I think it was 40
Jeez.
minutes almost. It for me, like I love the idea of a world existing in our world, and we don't know about it. That's why I love like the kids going into the Narnia
Hmm.
wardrobe
Yeah,
and like
most definitely. That's getting.
Spiderweb
Aren't they?
Chronicles
Aren't they
stuff like
getting
that.
ready to redo Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe? Or
They've been talking about doing the Silver Chair for
they just need
years,
to
and it's
reboot
been
it. They
on
really do.
Walden
It's been
Media's.
too
Though they
long.
do the characters are too. Yeah, yeah. Um, I watched the Chronicles, the 2005
Oh
Lion
wow,
Witch
it
and
has been that
Wardrobe
long, hasn't it?
for my 12th birthday. Yep,
Jeez.
12 years. It's a good
Hmm.
movie, dude. Prince Caspian
I
was
never
good
saw Prince
too. I mean,
Caspian.
like, it's good. Watch, dude. You should watch it. Prince Caspian's real good. The third one isn't
Yeah,
great. Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which is sad because it's one of my favorite books.
yeah, most definitely.
Um,
Okay, continuing on.
so yeah. Okay, what do you think of the visuals?
Okay, now that I've actually thought about it, the some of the action scenes on the mascara, especially like when
Hmm.
they're jumping off the cliffs and shooting their bows and arrows, looked kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I agree
Um, uh,
100%.
I think
That's
that
I
was my
think
biggest complaint. I was like, wow, that just feels weird. Which it was really cool because I was like, man, these women are fearless. But it looked
right.
really bad.
Really
Yeah,
cheesy. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the motion
yeah,
itself,
probably.
how unnatural it kind
Yeah.
of is. But yeah, that's been a big. I think I've heard a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people
Hmm.
talk about that.
Yeah, honestly, I think that's my biggest complaint because other than that, um, all of the rest of like the CGI looked really freaking good.
Yeah, I agree. There's this one moment. Maybe it's when they're on the boat or something like that, and it felt like something was moving unnaturally. It was just a brief. It was a brief scene, so it didn't really matter
Oh, was
much.
it
But
like
other
it
than that,
like
everything else
the
looked real
background
good.
went on the boat? It just kind of looked digital there for a hot minute.
Yeah, it was clearly like a
Yeah,
blue
yeah,
screen. Yeah, yeah. But it was just. But again, you're so not focused on that because that's such a
hmm
funny moment
yeah. That
too.
was a really
Like
good interaction between the
all
two
the
of them.
moments with Steve. Yeah, all the moments with Steve Trevor and Wonder Woman just
Yeah.
so good, just so good, so fun.
If I had one
So
more
yeah.
other complaint, because this was the only really thing I like had a problem with other than that, um, I
Mhm.
kind of felt like, gosh, I forget their name, Professor Ludendorff and Professor Poison were kind of hard to understand at times. Professor Poison makes a little bit more sense because she was like all like jacked up in the face, but I had some
Right.
Bane moments in there. I was like, I don't understand.
Do you think it's just because of the accent?
Uh, Probably.
Did you have a tough time hearing Chris Pine when he spoke in a German accent?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you think it might just be their
Yeah, and
enunciation?
it could just be their the way their characters were like meant to be because Professor Poison was meant to be all kinds of messed up. So
Right. I think it's assumed that like whatever accent they're kind of speaking in is the language they're speaking because he starts speaking in a
mhm.
German accent like whenever he goes to that party. So, um, but yeah, I didn't notice that, but I don't have German
Yeah,
friends either, so I'm trying to think of why I would. Maybe you just suck at
yeah, no,
hearing
right.
accents. That might
All
be
right,
the
let's go
only.
ahead and wrap this up. We're getting to the
So
115-minute
let's
mark.
yeah
Give our
let's wrap
scores
this
and we'll
up.
go on to what
We
you watch and
wanted
me.
to we wanted to hear a
Oh
woman's
yeah, I
thoughts on
completely
this
spaced on this.
because we aren't women, so we figured, hey, let's get a woman's thought on this. Um, so I went to see Wonder Woman with my girlfriend and my little sister, and so I said to my girlfriend Spencer, I said, hey. Let me get your thoughts on it. I knew she really liked it, but I wanted to kind of get a quote from her. So this is what my lovely girlfriend Spencer said about the film. She said, "I really liked it. I was surprised at how much I liked it." Now, Spencer likes movies, but she's not really a superhero movie girl. I've been kind of helping her get more into the superhero movie stuff, but she said, "I felt like it wasn't trying to tell you that girls were just as good as boys, but it showed it. She was just as good of a hero as the male heroes, and the film was just as good, if not better, than a lot of the superhero films that come out. She was just naturally a strong woman, and it was a normality to her in her culture and not something that the film really tried to push on you hard. She's just a strong character, a strong superhero, and she just happens to be a woman. And I really liked the film overall. It was just fantastic." So I agree with everything she said. I don't think they tried to push it. I think a lot of movies that are like, they press on you, like like this woman is a strong woman and like her,
I mean,
and
like
stuff
the
like well,
Ghostbusters
make a strong
remake?
female character. Yeah.
I'm raising my eyebrows at you. You just can't see it.
Yeah. It's just like, just make a good, strong character. She doesn't. And I think that's exactly what.
And I think that's why it's done so well.
What's your score? Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. It's
okay.
I know I've said this to you already.
Same as Alien Covenant?
Yeah, definitely. I know I said this to you already in our text conversation a bit afterwards, but it's finally a step in the right direction for DC after the hot mess that was both Batman vs Superman and Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad not as bad as a second viewing. I know I've talked about that before. Still not necessarily a huge movie, but it was definitely better second time around. But it's finally a step in the right direction. I hope they keep this dynamic, and it's just we're finally getting something good out of DC, which we haven't had since the Dark Knight trilogy. There are people, however, saying that this is the best superhero movie in a decade, which I highly disagree with. And there are people.
For me, it's really up there.
It's up there too, but it's definitely not like. There are some people like, oh, if this is a trilogy, they're trying to think. Or I've seen people saying, if this is a trilogy, this is gonna blow the Dark Knight trilogy out of the water. Which,
I mean, it could,
you can't really do that though.
Listen, I want movies to be good. To be good. So if it does, great. That's just a lot to say.
Well, you can also look at it this way.
The Dark Knight trilogy is
You look
amazing.
at the Dark Knight trilogy, you're like, this is a really humanized world where we're used to seeing really inhuman things going on. And it exists in a universe outside of its own. It's not really like the DC universe that we're getting now.
Right. No superpowers. Yeah.
It was just a really... Honestly, the Dark Knight trilogy is like, if like the technology was possible and people were brave enough, this could be real happenings kind of thing.
Yeah. That was the Christopher Nolan said, I want my Batman to exist in a universe without superpowers. And so that's kind of where they went with that.
So that's really that's my thought. It's finally a step in the right direction. And it was just a really enjoyable movie.
Yeah. Yep. I agree. I'm going to go a little more positive. I'm going to get a 9 out of 10.
That's officially the highest.
That's it.
From MovieFellas.
It's a... No, well, I gave Lego Batman.
Oh, yeah, you did, didn't you?
That was really good. Official of our official reviews, yeah. Like, I mean, I have Lego Batman. You can watch my Lego Batman.
Check it out on MovieFellas podcast.
YouTube, MovieFellas, yeah. So, it's just MovieFellas actually. But I just thought it was amazing. Aside from the couple parts where it fell down, villains, and the kind of unexciting end fight with Professor Lupin, but I thought it was a great film. And if it's a trilogy, maybe it'll be one of the best trilogies. I mean, it doesn't really have much to fight with, like,
at least in terms of DC.
The Captain America trilogy is really good.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
It got progressively better. Dark Knight trilogy is real good. So as far as superhero trilogies, it is room. It doesn't have too much it could be great. I hope so. That's the thing about movies. I want to go and enjoy.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's get on to the next segment of the show.
Oh, hold on. One more second before we get into that. I know you said earlier that Suicide Squad kind of seemed like it had spent more on budget. Wonder Woman
Uh-huh.
actually spent $400,000 more than Suicide Squad on advertisements. Wonder Woman
Really?
spent
Okay.
$3 million on advertisement, whereas Suicide Squad spent 2.6 million. It doesn't
That's
feel
so
like it.
hard to believe because
It doesn't. It really doesn't feel like
Suicide
it
Squad
does.
commercials were
Yeah,
on every other second of every other day. Wow. Okay. Well,
yeah.
fair
All right,
enough.
on to what you
I hope
watching,
Wonder
mate.
Woman blows it out of the water, though. Yeah. All right. What you watching, mate? So, Haste, what you
All right,
watching, mate?
obviously, since the review is up, you can check that out on MovieFellas podcast. It's like the 19th time we've plugged this, but
Mm-hmm.
I did a review for It Comes at Night. Saw it yesterday as the time we're recording this podcast. Um, Definitely a weird movie. Like I said in my review, um, if you can sit through the trailer and handle it, that's the trailer's as scary as it gets. Not to get too spoilerish, it's not really a monster movie like the trailer leads us to believe. It's kind of more of the humanity's the problem kind of thing, if that makes sense.
Okay.
It is kind of the whole Wonder Woman concept. Maybe it's not the thing that's going on that's the problem. It's the people that are the problem.
Okay. Okay.
Visually though, that movie was rough to get through. It's a lot of
Really?
in the dark kind of thing, and even if there's okay, so the main character, like the kid in the movie that the movie centers around, has a lot of him
Mm-hmm.
walking down like really small hallways with a lantern in his hand, and you're like,
Okay.
man, this is a really dark hallway. Other than the light around him, and you getting some light bouncing off like the walls around him and stuff, that's all the light you're getting. You are surrounded by darkness most of the movie, and it's really more of it's more of like a psychological horror in terms of the suspense and what's going on, because you don't know what's going to happen, but unfortunately it does kind of fall flat at the end, because it does have an absolute cliffhanger ending. You don't get conclusion. It
Okay.
doesn't answer any questions really, which oddly enough, I know I
Okay.
mentioned this before we started recording, the actual like normal everyday person reviews on Rotten Tomatoes are tearing this movie apart.
Really?
I've
But it's been well received by
Yeah, it's
critics, though,
sitting at
right?
like an 87% on Rotten Tomatoes from the critics. It's sitting at like a oh gosh, like a 40 something I think from the normal reviews. Um, there was a guy
Ooh.
a couple seats down from me who oddly enough I think came into the movie pretty dang like high, because I got weed. I got the scent
Uh
of
huh.
weed at the start. I was like, wait, what's going on now? But at the end of the movie, as the
Mm-hmm.
credits start to roll, he said, and I quote, "Forgive me, this is going to get a little bit inappropriate." He was like, "Oh hell no," and he was
Mm-hmm.
like, "All right, we should protest for our money back. That
Just
was
as it ended.
BS." And I was like, "Dude, no one made you sit through this movie."
Right. Yeah.
And that's unfortunately what a lot of the reviews are
That's
saying. They're
crazy.
all
Okay.
the like the regular everyday people are like, "Man, this movie has no ending. It's not worth it. Don't spend your money. Save it. This is the worst movie I've ever seen." It's a lot of that, which kind of sucks because I mean I enjoyed it. Yes, I'm a little upset that we don't get a lot of answers, but I mean I thought it was pretty dang good.
Right. Okay. Cool. I might check it
Yeah,
out
I
based on your
know.
review. By the way, check it out, youtube.com,
Jeez.
MovieFellas. It Comes at Night. Haste does his very first review of all time. It's more discussion based. I'm more kind of quick, like to say what I have to say. He's kind of more discussion based. So, but you guys will really enjoy it. So check that out.
Jeez, we're just gonna keep plugging away at that, aren't we? Um, yeah, and I know you said you're kind of like me. We're not really big in the horror movie, but I mean, I
Yeah.
think it's something you could really get through. If you can handle the trailer, you can handle the whole movie. Great
Okay.
atmosphere.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna give it like a 6 out of 10. The reason I give it such a low
Okay.
score is because I agree with the populace. It just doesn't answer any questions. So, I mean,
It's still
yeah, I mean,
positive.
it's definitely it's a movie I'd rewatch again to kind of maybe pick up on some stuff I hadn't seen before. But yeah, other than that, I
Okay.
mean,
Cool.
that's really my honest review. I was kind of really hyped about it. Left the movie a little upset, but at the same time, I'm like, that was interesting.
Okay. All right.
Um,
Well,
yeah,
fair enough. What else
I've
you watching?
finished the most recent season of The Flash. because the CW
Okay.
has a contract with Netflix, so where like the day after the season officially ends on television, it goes up on Netflix.
Oh wow. Okay.
Both that and Arrow are all fully up, which I'm in the process of catching up on Arrow. I've got about 3 or 4 more episodes left.
I tried to catch up on Arrow. I
It
was
gets
on.
rough.
I'm
It really does.
like the middle of season
I'm
3.
getting really tired of the CW-esque style drama that those two shows have become. I've been watching Jessica Jones. I don't know if I mentioned that before. I'm about 2 or 3 episodes away from the end of Jessica Jones. Um, Still not really sure how I feel about it. It's Jessica Jones is just kind of
Really?
weird.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what I'm like getting from it. Um, I went back here. You're gonna like this. I went back and watched the first episode of Lost on Netflix. I was like,
Okay.
let's go back and kind of look at this and see how it started from almost a decade later at this point, and see how it holds up. The first episode is actually really freaking good. I forgot how the
It
first
is
because
really
I think
good.
it's a 2 episode pilot, isn't it? It's a 2 hour essential first episode. Because okay, yeah, it is 2 episodes. It's the first episode and the second part of the pilot. So it was a 2 hour premiere. And I've watched it, the whole thing. It's actually really good. But then I go back and think of the ending. I'm like, ugh, do I want to keep going? I'm like, man, do I really want
Right.
to put myself through this again? Uh,
There are so many good episodes and so many episodes that are just like,
yeah,
well, that
yeah,
doesn't do
that's my
anything.
problem. I'm like, do I want to keep going with this and go back and try and rewatch it? But at the same time, I'm like,
Yeah.
eh. But yeah, really, first episode and second episode of Lost are like fantastic.
Cool. Every time I watch the Lost season finale,
The
I
series
cry. It
finale.
is so good. Series finale, yeah.
Gosh, what else? Is there
Well,
anything
cool.
else? Give me one second. Let me brainstorm for a hot second. No,
I believe you watched Days of Our Lives,
no. Actually, I've
the soap
never
opera.
actually like intentionally sat down to watch Days of Our Lives. Yeah, I think that's really it. I kind of have an inkling to go back and watch Ant-Man. I don't know why.
Okay,
I
cool.
think I'm gonna go back and
It's a good
rewatch
movie.
Ant-Man between now and the next time we do this. What
There
about
you
you? What are
go.
you watching, mate?
Um, since last podcast, I've watched every episode of Rick and Morty. Um, have you watched Rick and
No.
Morty? Okay, all right.
Here's my problem with it.
Hey, no. Sit down and watch Rick and Morty.
See,
It
I'm kind
is.
of over everything Adult Swim at this point because
It's not. It's. I don't. I've never watched anything from Adult Swim. Not
hmm.
one single thing in my life.
Oh,
I
you've
never
watched Children's
watched
Hospital with me,
any.
haven't you? Because that's Adult Swim.
I,
Congrats for the
unfortunately, I've
reminder that
watched
you've
that.
seen
Don't
Children's
watch
Hospital.
that, guys. It's
That is a
so
not
dumb.
safe for work show. Do not
No, it's
watch.
so
It's so
dumb.
raunchy.
It's oh gosh. All right. Okay. So, if I could do you one favor, to this point in knowing you, sit down
After all this
tonight.
time,
They're
you're finally doing
20-minute
something for the good
episodes.
of myself.
Yeah, I know. You're welcome. Um, never said I didn't give you
Dang.
nothing. It's on Hulu. You can probably find it somewhere else. Watch Rick and Morty.
Okay, I might give it the first
Seriously,
couple episodes
it
for you.
is so good. And episode 1 of season 3 premiered on April
Yeah,
Fool's
and
Day,
didn't
which
they do it for
thought was a
24/7?
joke, but then everyone, yeah, yeah. So I haven't watched the first episode of season 3, but season 2 ends on a cliffhanger, and they say in a post-credit scene of the last episode, they're like, "Listen, we're not going to make another season for like 3 years, so sorry."
And
Like
they've just
they
teased it.
legit say, and they didn't. They haven't.
Yeah,
They haven't made
yeah.
a season for years, so it's so good. It's hilarious.
Since it's Adult
clever.
Swim, is it
It
pretty
gets real
crude?
dark.
I expect crude
There's
since it's
a
adult.
decent amount of
Okay.
cursing. Yeah, there's not really like innuendos and stuff, but there's quite a bit
Okay.
of cursing. I mean, there's some of that, but it's more just kind of cursing stuff. I started watching Futurama, which
Oh,
is really
Futurama was
funny.
a great show.
Um,
I love that show. It was so good.
Yeah, I started watching that. So
Well, then
it gets off of Netflix
you've
in
seen enough.
July though.
You've
So
seen
I'm like, oh
another
man.
Adult Swim series without knowing it. That was originally Adult Swim and Fox.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Well, yeah. Well, I just started watching that literally like yesterday, I think.
Oh,
So,
okay. I will let you
um,
know. The series finale of that is so freaking satisfying. Yeah, it
really
is.
good.
Oh, it
Okay.
just so good.
There's 10 seasons of
Yeah,
it,
it
isn't
was
there?
it was a long time running.
Okay. Cool. Cool. I'm on like episode like 4 or something.
Good luck.
Um, but I like it so far. It's still like it's not HD yet, so like
Oh, it doesn't get HD
the
for a
TV screen isn't
while.
full screen. Oh wow, okay. I know it came out early
Hmm.
2000s. Um, anyway, I want to watch Monster Calls, which is a fantasy movie. Um, I know Liam Neeson is the voice of the
Oh yeah, I think
monster
we've
in
talked
the
about this
Monster Calls.
before.
I've heard, yeah, I haven't seen it. I've heard really, really good things about it.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love me some fantasy, so watch that. I might watch It Comes at Night, and maybe I'll watch The Mummy, but probably not, because let's be honest, it probably sucks.
I think I'm gonna go see Wonder Woman again sometime this weekend because I have a friend that wants to see it and
Okay.
hasn't been around to see it yet. A part of me really wants to see Captain Underpants because I freaking grew up with those books and they were freaking great.
That's it. I'm gonna watch that, and I've heard
Oh yeah,
great
it's
things
actually I think
about it.
it's
I've heard
sitting
it's
like in
so
80,
good.
somewhere in the
Yeah,
80% on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's really good
yeah,
for an animated movie. So, and I mean
yeah. It's
I grew up with the
DreamWorks.
books. They're freaking hilarious to me as a kid.
Absolutely. I made my own counterpart comic
Dang man,
books to Captain
I'm glad we were.
Underpants called Captain Boxer Pants, and he used to battle. He used to battle various sports teams because they were pirates, like the Oakland Raiders. And I
Oh
would have them
my
as pirates
gosh,
that he would
that's
have to
so
battle,
just
like the
quirky.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Yeah, I literally made those. I'm
No,
not even
that's
lying. I
cool.
loved Captain Underpants, so I'll probably see that
Yeah,
as
most
well this
definitely.
week. So, plus you kind of are Captain
I mean,
Underpants
it's those
because you're
gold.
bald.
I thought you were talking about gold-plated underwear.
Oh yeah, that's right. And your gold-plated underwear.
We've come
That
full circle,
too.
my friends.
And with that, guys, thanks for listening.
Oh
If you
wait,
made it this
wait, we
far,
did not talk about Black
go
Panther.
ahead. Oh yeah, that's
Okay,
right.
let's
Okay,
let's wrap
talk
this
about the
up in the
trailer real
next
quick.
3 minutes. We'll get to a minute or an hour and 35 minutes. And we'll call it good. Okay, we said it was a
Okay.
Bond-esque looking trailer. Obviously, really cool. There's a lot of big names in
Fast
this.
paced, had some like hip hop in it.
It looks like there's a
Yeah.
lot of big names. I think I saw Nick Cannon in there somewhere. Yeah, I think he
Really?
was somewhere. Go back
I
and
saw.
rewatch it. I think he's in there.
I saw.
Michael B.
What's his
Jordan
name?
was in it.
Michael
Yeah,
B. Jordan. Yeah, I knew that he was in it though.
I swear I saw Nick Cannon. You go back and rewatch
I
it. He's in there. I swear.
okay. It's the trailer starts off with um
Bilbo and Gollum having a
with
conversation.
Bilbo and Gollum having a conversation. I cannot believe that's what's
I went
happening right
okay.
now.
That's not
Literally
that is
what's
not an original
happening.
joke. I went and read the comments while we were doing the rest of the podcast, and someone's like, "Oh look, Gollum." And
Okay.
I wish that was original,
true,
but it's
though.
hilarious.
So Martin Freeman as I can't remember.
He's the director
who
of
his character is.
like the world.
He's one of
yeah.
the directors of Defense, and then you have Andy Serkis as Ulysses Claw. And he's like, "What do you know about Wakanda?" And he's like, "It's a third world country with shepherds." He's like, "No, they've concocted
It's
this
El
life like
Dorado.
this."
It's the real El Dorado.
Yeah. So, and like again, you know how I like a city that kind of no one knows exists. I've mentioned it. I really like it. So this got me really
Is this
excited.
going to be another version
Um,
of Space Pocahontas, but it's on Earth? Is this
Hey,
movie going to
listen,
be
alright?
the
Nothing wrong
Marvel
with Space
equivalent of
Earth
Pocahontas? Because if so, I'm ready for it. Because that
Anyway,
trailer looks really freaking
so
cool.
what it looks like is, and this is what happens a lot in the Black Panther comics, is a varying nation of Wakanda kind of comes and tries to take over Wakanda.
But this
and
kind of
they
looks like
aren't,
they're branching
you know,
out and
they
going
have
somewhere
to
else.
fight. Yeah, well, yeah, briefly
Mhm.
anyway. But Black Panther, played by Chadwick Boseman, who was in Civil War, did
He
a
was
great
the
job.
best part of Civil War, or one of the best parts.
I agree. He was a really cool factor in Civil War. He has to kind of fight them off, and it looks sweet. I mentioned to Haste, I'm like the CGI isn't quite there.
Oh yeah, it looks really weird.
Because it doesn't come out for there. It looks a little bit cartoony, but I think that it doesn't come out for like a year, so I think they're probably.
I
Still
think the
tweaking
date is like.
those.
I think I saw from the bottom of the poster. It's like February 8th of next year. So they have a lot of time to
2018,
render that
so.
bad boy into perfection.
Yeah.
There was that scene in the trailer where he flips off the bottom of that one car and lands on the top of the other, and I'm just like, that looks really cartoony.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah,
clearly
without
not a real
doubt.
person.
But then again, and
Yeah.
you don't really expect much with that suit. But I mean, it looks cool, it looks promising. It's Marvel. They've not really let us down that much other than Iron Man 3, but that's my personal opinion and it's my own. So
Right. All right. Well, okay. So let's we're gonna close out real quick. You guys, you can find us at on YouTube as MovieFellas, and like I said, we got some reviews. We're gonna be doing reviews, podcasts up there. You can go on iTunes and search capital M, capital F, MovieFellas podcast with a capital M and an F, and you can download our podcast there. You can find it on SoundCloud, MovieFellas podcast. You can find us on Facebook as MovieFellas. You can find us on Twitter as @MovieFellasPod. Make sure and give us a like, follow us, say something to us. We love talking to you guys. We haven't had a shout out in a while, so if you want to be that person to get that sweet shout out, you can. You can fulfill your
and
dream.
if you want to, again, for the millionth time, if you want to check out my review of It Comes at Night, and go check the comments section, and you can see me call myself an idiot for my own personal YouTube channel. Go check it out. I call myself out. Go read it. It's great.
Also, we're going to end this show this week in a new way that if it's well received, maybe we'll do it again.
I'm not ready for this change. What's happening?
We're each going to read a comment from a YouTube video that we discussed this week. So I'm going to read one of the comments from It Comes at Night, and I believe Haste might too.
Yep, definitely.
So my comment from the official It Comes at Night trailer is brought to you by the one and the only American Dissident. And his picture is a sheep that says words that I can't read because it's too small. And his comment is this on the It Comes at Night trailer. The earth is flat. ...
I think I scrolled past it a second ago. All right. And mine comes from Michael Kame. Kame, I think is his last name. Kame. Michael Kame.
Is this at the...
Yeah, it's from
It Comes at
Night
Night
official trailer. His profile picture is like an alien head, like the normal what you think of an alien head on like a gold coin. And his comment says, if you remember from the trailer, it's like the doors open at that one point, and they're like, the door was already open when we got there. Then who opened it? And then it says, next line, then some guy from Domino's just walks right in, and they're like, next line, oh yeah, we forgot we ordered pizza.
Guys, this has been the MovieFellas podcast, episode 11. Thank you so much. We will see you guys in a couple weeks.
Adam Norris making his triumphant return.
Yes, exactly. Gladiated up. We will see you soon.
Love you guys. See you. Bye.
Peace.